Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Got a fun video for you guys today. If you like affordable makeup, you are going to love this one. We're doing this full face of makeup using some super affordable products that are every bit as good as high-end. This entire makeup look on my face today was under $50. It came in at $47.87, and that is with everything: foundation, concealer, brows, mascara, lip products. Some of this stuff I have not used for a while. Others I'm sure you guys have seen me use before, but I love how this makeup look turned out. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Before we get into the makeup, let me wish a special welcome to my new visitors here. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you'll consider subscribing before you leave. And everybody, make sure notifications are turned on. With that said, let's get right to the makeup. All right guys, let's jump right in with foundation. So my most affordable foundation I found is the Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation. This stuff is just $3.49. I get it from Ulta. Mine is just about gone. And I use the shade 60 Neutral Honey. I'm so impressed with this stuff. I knew it was cheap. I've had this around for a while, but I was even surprised this morning when I was looking at the pricing on everything that this is that affordable. $3.49 is unheard of, especially for a foundation, which are typically a little more expensive even from the drugstore. So today I'm gonna put this on with my fingers. No primer today. We're just jumping right in with foundation. I did put my sunscreen and a little bit of extra moisturizer on about an hour ago. This one is likely going to be a little bit too light for me. I'm going to wipe off my hands on my clean towel here, and then I'm going to go back in just with those fingers that are kind of somewhat clean and just really kind of rub around the edges here. Make sure everything's nice and blended. I think next time I pick this up, I'll probably pick up a couple of bottles in a couple different shades. Now let's add some concealer. So the concealer I went with is the Incognito Concealer by Wet n Wild. You can get this for about $4 on Amazon. It's a little more expensive if you buy it on Ulta's website. I think it was $5.99, but if you buy it from Amazon, it's like $4.05 right now. I think Walmart and Target also have it for about $4.20. So today I am using the shade Light Honey, which is a pretty good match for me. And I want to blend this one out with my beauty sponge. It's just a Wet n Wild sponge. I'm also going to use this on my eyelids. All right, there we have it. Complexion is done. Let's finish off with the cheeks next. So I have a bronzer here. I had several bronzer options. All of them fell right at the $7 mark. This is probably my favorite one though, and I just love cream bronzers so much. I really love this one. I think it's a great one from the drugstore. By the way, I noticed on Ulta's website as I was looking up the price of this thing, they now have a luminous cream bronzer. Have any of you guys tried that one out yet? From e.l.f. It's a luminous putty bronzer. This one is in the shade Tan Lines. Like I need quite a bit of this today. When my foundation matches off, I think it is a little bit easier to warm up your skin with a powder bronzer rather than a cream. Hopefully I can kind of get it to work though, to where I'm not so pale, but I don't also overdo it at the same time, you know? Just trying to like spread this really thin. Okay, there's the bronzer. I applied a lot more of that than I typically do because my foundation match is a little bit off, but I think it looks pretty good. Let's move on to the blush. Perhaps one of the cheapest products that I will mention here today, and it's an old favorite of mine. It's from Essence. This is the Essence The Blush Blush. This one is in the shade Befitting. It is $3.99 and it is amazing. If you are into powder, just basic good quality powder blushes, this one is really, really good. I mean, it compares to some of my MAC blushes. I think it even holds up pretty well to like my Pat McGrath, my Sydney Grace. I mean, other than the packaging, which is a bit of an issue. Just a good basic formula, really good shade. And this thing has survived so many declutters, which I think says something. I definitely don't reach for it as much, and mainly I don't reach for this one because the packaging kind of bothers me. The product itself I do still think is every bit as good as many of my high-end powder blushes. Now for my highlighter, I wanted to try something a little bit different. I had a couple that were kind of in the running for the cheapest highlighters that I own. Two of those I've used more recently, my Wet n Wild Precious Petals and also my Essence Pure Nude highlighter, which I know you guys have heard me talk about before. This is also a cheap highlighter that I haven't used for a while, but we're gonna use this one today. This is the Makeup Revolution Reloaded highlighter in the shade Just My Type. This is an old favorite of mine that's been a bit neglected by me lately, and it is pretty cheap. This thing is $7. I think the Essence Pure Nude is $5, and the Wet n Wild one is also around $5, so this technically is not my cheapest, but it is really, really good. And I actually think I like the shade of this one, maybe even a little bit more than the Essence and the Wet n Wild. When I saw this sitting in my drawer, I just realized I haven't used this for quite a while, especially on camera for you guys. I know a lot of people love this highlighter. Maybe many of you at home have it in your drawer right now. Or maybe you're wearing it today. If you guys ever watch someone's YouTube video and they put on a product and you're like, I'm wearing that today. I don't know, it feels kind of exciting. All right, cheeks are all done. Complexion looks amazing. Let's move on to the brows. I've got my Shape and Stay Brow Wax Stick here from e.l.f. This thing is $3. This is a great everyday product for me. If I'm doing like a special occasion look, I usually will use either a different brow gel or something a little bit stronger to set my brows in place, like a brow gel or my Brow Freeze from ABH. This one's not gonna set them down quite as well or hold up quite as well, but for just everyday use, this is one that I often reach for. I'll just throw this in my brows, a bit of a brow pencil, and be done. And the brow pencil that we're using today is from a K-Beauty brand. This is the Peri Para Speedy Skinny Brow. This thing is so cheap and so good. I am telling you guys, I know I've been talking your ears off about K-Beauty makeup more recently, but this thing was only $4.40. And it's every bit as good as my Benefit brow pencil, my Ulta Beauty brow pencil. And I have other brow pencils that I've gotten from K-Beauty brands that I feel the same way about. This was just the cheapest one that I currently own. By the way, the shade that I'm using is Natural Brown. If I can find this one on Amazon, I will link it for you guys. You can find some K-Beauty makeup on Amazon. It's typically not quite as cheap as if you buy it on Yes Style. But I know there are a lot of you out there that are a little bit intimidated by ordering from Yes Style or even trying out K-Beauty. So I will link it on Amazon if I can find it. And if you are not into K-Beauty brow products, my second recommendation, which is even cheaper than this one, is the e.l.f. $3 brow pencil, which I think used to be $2. Am I remembering that wrong? I just prefer a slim brow pencil. Like if I'm really honest with myself, I like that brow pencil. If you're just starting with brows or just wanting something really simple to kind of fill things in, that's one I recommend, but I always prefer something more thin and slim. Brows are all done. Let's move on to the eyeshadow. My cheapest eyeshadow palettes in my entire collection are these two, the e.l.f. Bite Size eyeshadow palettes. These are the last two that I have not decluttered. I really like both of these. These are the two that I decided to keep. I think these were the best ones that they offered. The Cream and Sugar, which is super basic, and the Hot Jalapeno, which is a really fun green palette. I think today I'm gonna go with the basic one. I know this is probably gonna make some of you very mad, but I do have to film a video after this and I just don't want green eyeshadows on because the shirt that I'm wearing is pink. I know, it's a whole thing. Let me know if you guys would like me to come back and do a green look with this. Maybe we'll do that for St. Patrick's Day, which is in March, am I right? I do like green eyeshadows, so maybe we'll come back and do that. I think this is probably one of their best ones. As boring as it looks, it just creates such a good, basic, simple look. So we're gonna use this one. I'm gonna start off in this shade right here in the corner, which is pretty light. This barely shows up on my eyelids. Okay, and now I'm gonna take this shade right here. It is a shimmer, but we're gonna take a little bit of this on that blending brush, and I'm gonna add just a tiny pop of this dark brown as well. I'm gonna kind of mush those together into the brush on the back of my hand just to make sure it's not too dark. And then I'm gonna use this to start building up a little bit of depth up through this crease and outer corner. And then we'll slowly build on top of this with that dark brown. Now I'm gonna take a mix of this cream shade and this shimmer. We're gonna put that in this Sydney Grace smudge brush and run that on the lower lash line. All right, now I'm gonna build up a little bit of depth in the outer corner. I'm gonna take this small blending brush from Sydney Grace and we're gonna take that dark brown, just kind of on the edge of this brush, starting at the lash line. This one I actually don't want to put in the crease. I just want to kind of keep it almost as like a smudgy liner, and then we're going to put the shimmer on top of this. And back to that blending brush, I just wiped that off really well. We're going to just kind of smudge that even further, just get it nice and blended. Now we're going to jump back to this shimmer, this kind of bronzy shade right here, and I'm going to put that all over the outer 2/3 of the lid. Such a pretty color though. It's warm, but it's not too brassy. If you don't like shades that go kind of brassy or orange on you, this is a really good light bronze. It's like right there between a bronze and a gold. Now we're gonna jump into the champagne shimmer right here with my pinky finger and pop that on the inner corner and just slightly overlap. If you're using your finger to get too much on that lower, like under eye area, you can always go back to your sponge and just kind of pull it off. There we go. Just one more thing, I want to go back into that dark brown with this smudge brush and just pull back a little bit of that matte brown that we covered up with the shimmer. Okay, eyeshadow is done. Let's move on to some liner. No surprises here. We're gonna take my Wet n Wild Simma Brown Now liner. I'm gonna do a bit of a wing with this. You guys have seen me do this a million times. I think it helps if you hold it kind of sideways like this, as long as your pencil's nice and sharp. Now for the mascara, I'm gonna use the same mascara. I know I just got done using this stuff, but it is the cheapest mascara that I own. It's about $4. I think I checked this morning, it was closer to the $4.50 mark, but this stuff is amazing. If you really want something that's gonna curl your lashes or hold a curl, this does a great job. It is waterproof, so be aware of that if you are not into waterproof mascara. I also wanted to mention the Essence Lash Princess mascara. I was surprised to see as I was checking the price on the Essence mascara this morning that they haven't raised the price on that one yet. It's still $4.99. Knock on wood. I have a feeling that's coming. It seems like everyone else has raised their prices. That is a great alternative though if you don't like waterproof mascaras or you don't want to order a K-Beauty mascara. But I love how long and curled this makes my lashes. It's absolutely amazing. All right guys, eyes are finished. I know this palette is kind of boring and simple, but sometimes boring and simple on the eyes is not a bad thing. I think this is so pretty. I actually think sometimes because I love playing with eyeshadow palettes and dabbling in color that sometimes I forget to do simple looks. And they never disappoint. I always think they look pretty. I cannot believe this is a $3 eyeshadow look. Let's move on to the lips. I have just two products for the lips. I know you guys have seen me talk about these before. First off, the LA Girl Ultimate Intense Wear Auto Liner. This is in the shade Nonstop Nude. Such a perfect nude shade for me. And they're also pretty long wearing. This is $5.49. I'm just overlining a bit and filling in just along the inner rim. Then I like to take my clean finger, just smudge the shape a little bit so it's not too precise. Makes it look a little bit more natural. And also really presses it in so it lasts a little bit longer. All right, and now for the lip gloss. We're gonna take the Wet n Wild Mega Slicks lip gloss. I could not figure out what this shade was. It's the one that's kind of a champagne color and it does have some glitter particles in it. I will link it for you guys down below. These are only $2, which is crazy. That is so incredibly cheap and I think they're really good. You don't get a ton of product in these, but if you are on a tight budget, I highly recommend this one, particularly this shade. I have another shade as well that I don't like nearly as much as this one. I just love the glitter particles in here. They're pretty subtle, can't really feel them, but the shade is just so, so pretty. And here it is, you guys. This is the finished look. Isn't it beautiful? This is a full face of some of my cheapest makeup that is every bit as good as high-end. Can you believe this whole look was under $50? That is mind-blowing to me. I love how this one turned out. Sometimes it's fun just to dip into some of your most affordable stuff because who doesn't love saving money, especially right now when everything is so expensive. Let me know what you guys thought of this one. What do you guys think of some of these products? I'm sure a lot of these you have tried before, but what about the K-Beauty products? Have you guys tried any K-Beauty before? I know some of you have mentioned you're a little bit intimidated by K-Beauty products, but man, if nothing else, you've got to try out this mascara because I am so incredibly impressed with it lately. But that is going to do it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching, for stopping by. Hope you guys are all doing very well. Let me remind you one more time before you leave, please subscribe if you haven't done that already. And I will see all of you in my next video. Bye.